And so it is, with a view over the Vern Valley in South Africa, that Logistical Nightmare Racing comes to complete its first season of PC Assetto Corsa Competizione. Good evening, everybody. My name is Ike Sky, and I will be taking you through every turn and every lap of the final round for Logistical Nightmare Racing. Wonderful, wonderful views and beautiful weather in this free practice session. Just finishing up and getting, as you can see there we go. Apparently that isn't turning off. That's interesting. Just getting used to a new broadcasting software. Just to make everything even more fun. Out for qualifying for the final time in this season. The new season set to begin in just 2 weeks' time. Tristan Dinnerbregger, all eyes will be on him in the coming qualifying and race sessions as the defending champion with everything to lose. All Dinnerbregger has to do to seal the championship, I believe it was finish in 8th position to clinch the championship, and with a run as consistent as this man, you have to consider that it must be possible. If I remember correctly, Spa, he came second. Brands Hatch, he was second. I'm pretty sure the most consistent driver. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride so far in this championship. Don't know as he will feel as though he has anything to prove. His only non-second finish was last time out at Paul Ricard, so could this be a chink in the armour for Dinnerbregger? Lots left to unfold, and with 8 minutes in the session, plenty of time for everything to unfold neatly for these drivers. First flying laps about to start coming through. And it looks like, how are the drivers doing? Dinnerbregger is on course to match his fastest time from practice, which was fairly quick. How does the rest of the field look at the moment? Patterson looks like he's having a bit of trouble, having set one of the fastest times for Alan Patterson there in the BMW in practice. Not quite able to hook the car up at the moment. It's still fairly early in the qualifying session though. These drivers will have only just started to get their tyres up to temperature, and in ACC you can be driving around on cold tyres that aren't up to pressure for as much as 3 laps, even in qualifying conditions. Just following that beautiful M6 GT3 car around the closing stages of the lap. This isn't going to be a representative lap time for Patterson in the very least. 1:42.0 goes Dinnerbregger, and Wessels will go half a second quicker, and Patterson 1.5 off the pace of Dinnerbregger. Lots of Porsches rounding out the top 3, with Heinecker a return to form on this final round of the championship. What can that 96 car do after such a challenging series of races. Could he take home the win and secure himself any kind of podium position when it comes to the final tally? Something to consider, that the drivers do have to drop scores or their lowest performance from the race tonight. So again, all very much left to fight for. How are things looking now? Heineke's going faster. All of the times have just disappeared. Wessels in the third Porsche is going faster still, so it could be Wessels to the top. Dino Bregger is half a second quicker as well, so he will improve his time. Can he do much to touch those Porsches? He can split the Porsches, but will immediately get demoted by Stein just up behind him. That must be so frustrating. These Porsches really are on balance in Kyalami tonight. Wilson is going quite quickly, but there we go. Wilson will put himself up to 11th in that Bentley. A second advantage over his previous lap time, doing a lot of assistance in getting that car somewhere representative. That was a Porsche off behind. That was Stein. Oh no, it was Heineke that has overcooked it. Goes back to the pits. This is the biggest improver at the moment. It looks as though Stein and Stridham are both improving. Stridham is a man on the move in that 394. He's shown his pace last time out. Just how quick that Aston Martin is in his hands. If I remember correctly, it has been an entire week. That man he did take the win overall. So lots to play for in the remaining 3 minutes of qualifying. Stridham comes across the line, is 2/10 up, will not improve on his position, but gets within striking distance of Heineke in a 96 car. Where is Mr. Wessels? So the 22 car, let's just jump on board with the qualifying session about to close out. Right on board with that epic Porsche for a very, very quick track guide of Kyalami. On the brakes into Crowthorne, second gear, use all of that ridiculously wide track up the Juksky sweep, which I will not be referring to up until after this point. Left turn at Barbecue, hold the throttle on the apex just to keep the car settled, then early as you can, up to full throttle, down Barbecue straight in towards Sunset, just keeping the Porsche within track limits, and then Clubhouse Bend, Clubhouse up on the right there if you weren't familiar, and now we start the S's up towards the highest point of the track. Third gear, maybe fourth if you've got a torquey engine. Back on the throttle and then up on the brakes for Leocop. Brave as you dare for the 22 car. Completely ignores the apex on the start, the first apex, to get the throttle down as quick as possible. Alva Leocop down through mineshaft, and the left hand kick under the bridge, and then on the brakes into the crocodiles. Flat, if not off camber, not always advisable to hit that curb on the inside, but nail the curb on the outside, and then into Cheetah. horrible, horrible kink that even the fastest man on track cannot get right. And then on the brakes for the final corner, Inge. Lots of passing opportunities on the entrance and exit of this corner. And across the line for a lap of Kyalami. And how the man's going faster as well has lost time coming through there, but is just about quicker. Can he do anything through the final corner? There's 10 seconds remaining. He will get another lap after this. 4, 3, and this will be Wessel's final lap. He has improved his time slightly, but I think he's just about the only driver who is at the moment. Wessels is about on par. The NSX has given up. Who is that is running 10? That is Ethan Rutter in the 975. 2 tenths up on his previous at the moment. Everybody in front of him has given up. Lots of opportunity for Rutter to make up time if he just needs to get it right through here. Oh, big old switch for the Ferrari. And when the pressure struck, Cam Barrington-Smith, who was so late to get into qualifying, improved for that 74 car. Can he depose the championship leader? He comes across the line. He's apparently 4 tenths up according to the split timer. Across the line he goes and will go 5th. And no further will he go. Wessels still circulating, not finished with this pack of cars yet. He is 3 tenths up on his previous lap. Through the final sector he comes. 2 tenths, nice and steady. That Porsche holding the rear end very, very comfortably. Will come out of Inge for the final time, for the final lap of the qualifying session, and will go even faster. 140.434 is the final pole lap for... I have to do this bit manually still, unfortunately. Nonetheless, let's just get all of this sorted for you then. So, for the last time, Stephen Wessels will lead away the pack. A Porsche will be alongside him in the form of Stein. I've lost my full names, that's really annoying. The 96 of Heinecker will start in 3rd. Stridham, the first of the Aston Martins, and only Aston Martin on this particular grid, strangely, in 4th position. Ryan Barrington-Smith, a late showing, but a fantastic showing at that to get that 74 car to 5th position. Tristan Dinnerbregger, a lowly 6th position, but plenty of time to make up positions. Paul Venter in the 42 Bentley will be hoping to make up positions, as will Sean, I think it's Sean Shutter in the number 13 Porsche 911. Jacques Vermeulen in the M6 GT3 will start in 9th, and Ethan Rutter, with that unfortunate accident in the closing stages of qualifying, will start 10th. Alan Patterson will start the other M6 in this race from 11th, and Andrew Wilson will start the second Bentley Continental GT3 from 12th. 13th will be Van der Moer in the 67 Honda NSX. Neil Greening will start the 93 Ferrari 488 GT3 from 14th. 15th will be Robson in the Nissan GTR GT3, and the other Van der Moer brother, Robin, if I remember correctly, will be the 488 GT3 Evo in a stunning bronze and black livery to round out the grid. So, final warm-up let's have a quick look at the standings for this final event. As you can see, without the drop scores being taken into consideration, Tristan de Nobrega looks to be walking away with the championship. Neil Greening, his closest competition in that 488 GT3. Ryan Barrington-Smith just out-qualified the championship rival, still within a shot of the championship for sure if he can wrangle that Audi R8 LMS into a higher point scoring position. Chris Heinecker, for sure the best opportunity to take the championship win, having missed a few races but won one, very much in a prized position to depose Tristan de Nobrega from the lead of the championship. With all of that said and well out of the way, you can see down to, I think it's 20th or 22nd or so, a few duplicate positions there on the line. As always, a big thank you to the patrons and subscribers of the channel. If you want to become a subscriber of the channel, the big red button below is the place to go, and there will be, I'm sure, links below if you wish to support Sean and the team for their future escapades, both in ACC and other sims. Up the top of the racetrack they are now. Plenty of time to get the car's tyres and brakes into operating windows, but the guys will still have fairly cold systems as they come into turn 1. Lots to be aware of as they come down into turn 1, and with a 16 car grid they will be coming into turn 1 3 and 4 abreast, as every driver strives to make as many gains as they can in the early stages of the race. Last thing, as always, to be concerned with is the mandatory pit stop. The pit stop window is the entire race, so we will have drivers trying to pull overcuts, undercuts. There was in the driver's briefing the idea of potentially pitting on the last lap, although that would be perhaps not the best idea. I can totally understand why it would be done though. If you're in clear air and people keep on pitting, lots of opportunity for strategy. We will let it all unfold for the next 50 minutes here this afternoon at Kyalami. For the final time, we wait for the green flag to wave. And hold for a long time. We are go for the final round of Logistical Nightmare Racing as they come piling in to turn 1. Who has got the best brakes? I did say it would be 4 cars abreast. The Audi's quick on the brakes. They come through very, very cleanly so far. How have the rest of the field survived? They've all gotten through turn 1. Lovely and clean, beautiful shot as they come through barbecue. The entire grid worming their way now down towards sunset. Barrington-Smith in the 74 car maintains his position. The Aston Martin of Stridham looks as though he has lost out in the turn 1, 2, 3 shuffle, and he's going to be under pressure from that Audi very soon in proceedings. The Aston Martin perhaps not as pacey as the early qualifying pace might have suggested. On the brakes, de Nobrega gets it all wrong. Maybe not all wrong, but gets on the brakes up the inside of Barrington-Smith and will lose out to the Bentley of Paul Venter. Concedes the position. But the McLaren will come back on the brakes up the inside at Crocodiles. Is there anything that they can do? BMW is off wide in the background. No, the McLaren falls into line for the time being. I dare say this is a really silly idea, but perhaps an early pit stop for de Nobrega could spell a decent opportunity. A very brief accident for Barrington Smith. This was the one that we just saw. Contact, very light contact for our third place in the championship for the time being. But Dino Brega, with all of the work to do, it looks as though that's frustrating. There isn't a split between the cars, so I can't see who's doing what. Someone was off very wide in the background. I think that was Rutter. But that will be... who's that just dropped? No, I think it was Van der Merwe. Robin Van der Merwe has had a disconnect. That's what we saw then. 86 car has retired to the pits. I wonder if that is... I wonder if his controls are locked and he's waiting to go. It's interesting. Interesting times up the head of the field. Wessel still leads Heinecker as they come out for the second time of asking. And I'm sure that 96 car is anxious to find some clear air to run that Porsche in. Other positions around is no good. I need the other dashboard as well. Okay, so this is now slightly better. Patterson in the 10 on the tail of Neil Greening in the 93 Ferrari. Greening having performed so well through this championship, suffering at what is the majority of this grid's home circuit. BMW gets it all wrong into the barrier for Patterson. Aero wash getting the better of that BMW. Really unfortunate there. So the pressure is off for Neil Greening in the 93, allowing him to focus forward on the 31 and the 975 in front. What else do we have up and down the field? Really interestingly, Dino Brega has fallen into his own little gap here. I wonder if he's carrying damage in that Inception Racing McLaren, in which case it might be a good idea. Sean Shutter has already pitted, so excellent for him. Let's kill off that. There we go. So Sean Shutter circulating on his own. For what it's worth, I will just show you, this is not something we do very often here. 13 car is out. He is not a lap, don't think he's a lap down as yet. But you can see how close he is to going a lap down. Lots of, well, plenty of fresh air for the 13 car to use as long as he makes good use of it. Rutter still on the back of the 31 Bentley. It's a sunset again, just like we saw with the number 10 before. What is it with the cars running up behind? And is the 10 going to make a place in all of this? He is. So that is the 975 of Ethan Rutter demoted to 13th position. It will fix itself momentarily, I'm sure, for the stacking. There we go. And now Patterson has Johannes van der Merwe. I knew it was Johannes. As they come out of Leeuwkop. BMW has the drive. The NSX is a real challenge on most tracks. And Van der Merwe really has chosen a tricky mixture to try and get that purple NSX to behave. BMW looking a little bit tight. He's going to look up the inside on the brakes. Can the BMW get it done? Nice and easy at Inga. It's a little bit too early to be fighting too hard, but Van der Merwe is going to be watching that BMW disappear into the distance, even with damage. Maybe he can hold on to the coattails and gain a few positions that way. Ryan Barrington-Smith now on the back of Sean Stridham as they come through Sunset. Is this going to be the corner that undoes it again? No such problem for Barrington-Smith in the 74 car. On the brakes now into Clubhouse, and that Audi, I'm sure, is going to be lively as anything. That was a Aston Martin off the side of the road. Who do we have? That is... Of course the accident hasn't come up. There's two... Where's the other Aston Martin gone? Or am I just completely misreading it? And was that the Ferrari? I need to refine that now. I am incredibly sorry to everybody. Barrington-Smith. That was... And it was through the S's that he would run. And on the outside is the 13 of Shutter. Made an early pit stop. Now he's very much in trouble. Did he get the car going again? Yes, he did get the car running again. So, Shutter now carrying lots of damage in that 13 car. Will drop into the pits again to get some repairs. Oh, this is tense. This is so... Tristan Dinneberger has to finish above 8th to secure his championship win over the closest competition, which is Mr. Neil Greening in the 93 Ferrari. The next competition that he has is Ryan Barrington-Smith, and this is where it becomes very, very complicated with the drop scores. But he is now under pressure for that 8th position. He cannot afford to fall any further back than where he is at the moment. Perhaps, if luck entirely falls his way, that 8th position will secure him the championship. This is vitally important fighting for the championship, and just ahead of this battle is an equally important competition for the championship, with Barrington-Smith bearing down on the Aston Martin of Sean Stridham. Very, very different approaches to a GT3 car. The Audi is notoriously oversteery and, as a driver would express it, pointy when it comes to handling, but Barrington-Smith really has got hold of that car by the scruff of the neck and made it work for him with some fantastic consistency over the season to pull himself up to a very competitive championship position. And with his, I believe, a DNF, that drop score becomes a 0 point for him. Just up ahead too is the last of the trifecta of Porsches leading the way. It was gifted to Ryan in the end. Can the Audi gain on the number 5 Porsche? Let's have a look at that again from the helicam. I don't think there was any kind of contact. Oh, there was a tiniest bit of contact, but the Aston had outbraked himself anyway. A really quick push to pass for the Audi driver. And suddenly the road has opened and everything is to play for that bright red, orange, bronze? Audi. Just as long as he can keep it underneath him. Dino Brega under pressure yet again. The BMW we know is good off the corners and has tremendous drive, especially off of barbecue. We've already seen that BMW be very quick, and that is into the pits for Dino Brega. An early pit stop for the championship leader, potentially feeling that he can get himself some clear air and run unabated to perhaps gain some positions. A real turn up for the books for Dino Brega. What is going on here? That looks like Robson has gone through with the 86 behind, his laps down. That is not to worry about. The gaps opening up ever so slightly for that 4th place. I will keep a close eye on the times as the Ferrari's trying to unlap himself. I can totally understand why he'd be wanting to do that. Lots of time to be made up by Robin van der Merwe. And Robson much more inclined to try and play it safe, although a monumental oversteer moment on the exit. I absolutely feel his pain as far as those awful oversteer moments are concerned. What's the Ferrari got going on at the moment? Ethan Rutter on the attack, trying to reclaim now that 10th position from Neil Greening, has dispatched the 67 car. And now, so how well has that 70 car strategy before this attack takes place? Let's just stick with this for a second. We'll have a look at Tristan Dino Brega in just a moment. Maybe there's an attack coming here from Ethan, coming down into turn 1. I really wish there was a way that I could look at it from above. The 93 goes defensive as he has to, comes back to the racing line on the brakes. It's not going to come just yet, but you have to there is a feeling of inevitability about the positioning of that 9755. Very, very quickly, where is our championship leader and how much space does he have to work with now that he's made the pit stop? Look at that. He's fallen behind the 86 on the track, but just has the entire length of the pit straight to run his laps. And I will keep an eye on those pit stop, on those lap times, and see how quick he can go. Meanwhile, Neil Greening coming through the S's, still on the defensive from Rutter in the 975, doing a brilliant job. We know how good Greening can be when the time calls for him to be a roadblock, and he's doing an excellent job so far. The gap between 3rd and 4th has opened up ever so slightly, but that is because Heinecker is being pulled into Marcus Stein now. Stein getting a bit of performance from that number 5 Porsche suddenly. I will keep abreast of that. This is a much closer battle and much more interesting as well, as two Ferraris go head to head. Hey, at least if they make contact, the one who is at fault can donate panels to the other. On the throttle, a big old wiggle, and we're going to be robbed of the fight as Greening will opt to take an early pit stop. Surprised that Rutter didn't opt to do the same, either the undercut or something as simple as getting the potential damage. Let me have a quick look. No, I think he's okay. Judging by the physicality of the car, it does look as though he avoided the barrier. But sunset, definitely a point of concern. Best personal lap for Dino Brega at 1:42.3. So relatively competitive at the moment. An accident is popped up on here. I think this is the same one as earlier. Yeah, it is. Why are you still there? You should have been cleared. So, what is going on here? Other than insanity, Tristan Dino Brega. Robson on the defensive has Shutter for company. At the moment, Johannes van der Merwe has the 10 BMW for very close company yet again. And suddenly, that NSX is going to have to become very, very wide. One of the smaller cars in this championship is going to have to become very wide to keep that thundering BMW behind for any amount of time. Very different lines being taken through turn 1. I have a feeling the 10 went wide to try and maintain some speed. Up into barbecue they come. And down through Sunset. What is the general attitude of the cars? BMW goes very wide again. Careful on those curbs on the outside. They've already caught you out once. On the brakes into Clubhouse they come. NSX goes very wide, gets a bit of oversteer, manages to avoid the wall. Brilliant driving by Johannes, but that will be Patterson to 10th position the next time the splits come through, and veritably gifted by the driver in the end. Is it time for the shoe to be on the other foot? As Barrington Smith starts to come under pressure once again from Sean Stridham. That Golf-esque liveried Aston Martin looks absolutely wonderful. There really are some great liveries that have been turned out for this championship, and this is absolutely one of them. Under a second is the gap, so a little bit of space to breathe at the moment, but I believe Ryan might just about be feeling the pressure now. The Aston really is starting to get, and there's the 93 going a lap down. That was what that split time was about. As the laps traffic starts to muddy the waters as to which car is doing what. Mr. Stridham continues the relentless pushing of the 74 Audi. The gap to the second place car has levelled out around that 2-second gap, so perhaps Heineke has responded, perhaps also Stein is happy with the gap that he's got and is waiting to pounce when he decides to pit for some new boots. Coming up to halfway through the race now, and this is where we will see those drivers who have taken a fairly standard approach to the race will find themselves dropping into the pits for a new set of boots. I wonder if that 394 car is able to operate at its peak pace in the shadow of the 74 Audi. A single lap could make a massive difference at this point in the race. The fresh boots that pitting a lap early would offer you will absolutely make the difference come the end of the race. Going on with Greening is letting the other drivers pass. Good driving by Greening to stay out of this closely contested fight. I could have sworn I heard the revs drop for that Aston. That was terrifying. Into the pits go the BMWs at the same time. Will they go a lap down to the leading battle, I wonder? Vermeulen should get out before the leader. That's absolutely fine. That Porsche looks so planted. I'll tell you what, it looks as though Wessels has got a handle on things at the moment. Let's just jump on board with this ridiculous Porsche and have a lap to bask in the glory, this time uninterrupted by my voice. Robbed of a final fast lap as the race leader drops into the pits. Sean Stridham still very much on the offensive, trying to make up that place to Barrington Smith. I'm surprised there isn't more strategy being played out here at the moment. Heinecker has exited the pits. Who's he around? He's got the 13 car who is lapped down for company, as well as the 67 Honda, so this race is technically for position, although there is a pit stop between them. The whole field in that previous lap have decided to drop into the pit, so no one taking a late strategy other than Ethan Rutter, it looks like, at the moment in that NSX. I'm assuming that's because the car is just looking very healthy. Big old dive by the 96 will put him into 6th overall, and the pitting cars will promote the 96 car to 4th and 2nd once again. What has happened since the pit stops then? I wonder what that gap is going to be. looks to be around 6 seconds if there isn't anybody else in the way. So Heinecker, perhaps the best he can do tonight is going to be, yep, 6.8 seconds or so. Second may be the best for the 96 driver. Is this for position? No. That 5 car is elsewhere on track. But that unfortunate race so far for the 13 car, currently getting worse and worse, is fortunately placed above Robin van der Merwe, who I can only assume either had some kind of failure that he needed to reset to the pits to solve, or a disconnection. Let's say it because it's fun to say. Barrington Smith in the 74 Audi leads the way with 22 minutes to go. A pit stop left yet to serve, but this clear air will do him no end of favours in getting a gap. Vermeulen made a pit manoeuvre on Tristan de Nobrega. Where did that happen? When did that happen? 8th. I thought that McLaren was out on its own. How long ago was that? I think yeah, I do have live chat on. That's a really strange thing to happen, and for Vermeulen's not the kind of I'm afraid I haven't seen that, and it hasn't come up on my tracker as being any kind of incident. That's really unfortunate. And it should have. It's picked up way less. Like a full-on pit manoeuvre should have come on, but de Nobrega with a very serious challenge to his championship hopes now. Where do the gaps lie? It looks as though Robson has got... Who has he got for company? That looks like the 86 behind. It will be the 975. So, it's for position. Will that swap over as they come through? Yes. So the 975 has had an accident, which it hasn't picked up as well. So Ethan Rutter, what has happened to you, good sir? You were in front when you came through Sector 2. Comes through Sunset. Is it going to be Sunset yet again? Out wide he goes, gets a big old wiggle on. Nissan will go to the outside. Ferrari blocks, doesn't defend up the inside, just lets the Nissan go. Not a big incident, but it doesn't need to be a big incident to be able to cause issues. And here's the problem, is now I can't get out of this replay. Barrington Smith drops into the pits off screen. Will begin to drop back down the field to that 4th place. Meanwhile, we're stuck in the replay. There we go. but most critically will get out ahead of Marcus Stein, and suddenly that third position is well and truly on for the 74 Audi. Where has Stridham gone in all this? He is just behind, so the pit stop that was 1.5 seconds behind, that it was fantastic pace by Barrington Smith to leapfrog the number 5 Porsche. But now he has to defend from the dominant car at this track. And I do not envy that Audi at all. Front end damage as well, so there has been an altercation at some point for the 74 car. Hopefully there is enough front end left on the Audi for it to be able to make the corners. Coming down through mineshaft, that Porsche is looking angry, looks up the inside as they come into the crocodiles, but will fall back in line. Not quite enough pace for that at the moment. Rutter will swap with the 764 as they come through turn 1. Stein can't do anything but will run out super wide, try and get the throttle down as quickly as possible. It doesn't make any difference. The Audi, pretty much one of the slowest cars in a straight line, but that might not make any difference as they come into turn 1. The Audi gets on the brakes. It might even be in Brian's playbook to push that number 5 Porsche back into the grasp of Stridham in the Aston Martin behind, who will cause no end of drama for the Porsche if he gets within attacking distance. Through sunset they come, the scene of so many incidents so far, but once again both these drivers manage to hold it together. On the brakes, the Porsche closes up so much. But through the S's, it is as fair as you like. On the brakes, Audi tries to go defensive. Porsche will look to the inside. Almost sold a dummy to try and put the Audi off, but that is not going to happen. Not tonight. Barrington Smith still trying to hold the defensive line. Will take the racing line. As long as he's running on the racing line, it looks as though he can just about keep the Porsche at bay on those tyres as they are. But absolutely worth noting is Stridham is now starting to close in, only by a tenth or two per lap, but there is plenty of time for this battle to become 1, a three-way, and 2, a very, very messy battle for the final step of the podium. Interestingly though, as it stands, Dino Braga will have to drop this score because his lowest finish before now is 7th. Plenty of time for those circumstances to change. But that's how it looks at the moment. Unfortunately, I can't give you real-time calculations because we don't have those graphics here. I think the Audi might be listening to the broadcast because that Aston Martin, as they come through Sector 2, is now under a second away from this battle. Officially a 3-car battle for 3rd position with 13 minutes and 35 to go. Who will take that final step of the podium? Audi goes really defensive this time. He did not feel confident on the exit of Crocodiles. There is the slightest bit of contact, but the Audi has the line covered. Now, The Aston Martin has an opportunity to strike fastest in a straight line of any of these cars. Can he do anything into turn 1? No, he can't. I don't think he's anywhere near close enough. The number 5 car will follow the 74 into turn 1 and try and set himself up for a dive into turn 3, turn 4. A barbecue, not going to happen there. Nowhere near enough of a braking zone for it to be an issue. Now as they come over the first split, the gap between the 5 and the 394 is even lower. So much speed through sunset for the number 5 car that it all closes up, but misses the apex as they go through Clubhouse, up through the S's. Now the Aston has a very quick look up the inside. Not going to happen through here. It's one line only. Don't tell any of the racers that. They will still go for it if the pass is on. Keeping it all on the track very comfortably, but only just comfortably. Defensive now for Barrington Smith. Sitting in the middle of the road, that will compromise his exit, but the Porsche is even more compromised. The Aston Martin has a clean line. Can he do anything as they come down into the Crocodiles? Not the favoured space for the Aston Martin to make a position. Porsche goes defensive. Audi has a wide line. Good for him. Will be able to keep more speed on the exit, but they all fall back into line. Once again, don't worry, I'm watching for any other potential battles. So many different lines being taken by these 3 drivers. Let's have a look from the sky as we have the helicopter up there. The Aston Martin closes up on the straights as they come down the brakes into turn 1. Will the Aston have a look? He has a nose. The Porsche gets on the brakes and takes a very narrow entry into turn 1. This might give the Audi an opportunity to escape. Right, give me a second. There we go. I can now see chat again. I'm very sorry. I have two dashboards up at the moment because neither of them do everything that I need them to. But this, I can now actually see chat. So, as an honorary mention, while this battle rages on track, what a ridiculous race. What a ridiculous battle. The front is relatively clear, but this could be the time it happens. No, the Porsche runs wide on the brakes. Aston is just sticking to the racing line. The Audi is kind of forcing the Porsche into all sorts of uncomfortable positions, but making it work and doing exactly what he needs to do. Porsche will have a look to the inside. I don't know if that's a defense or an attack at this point. He is obviously unnerved about something going on with one of the cars around him. Clean now into the final corner. The Aston Martin, I'm sure, is so frustrated at the wide-body Porsche that is in front. The 74 taking a very interesting line to try and straight line the kink at turn 1 over the grass, trying to shortcut as much as is technically possible. On the brakes will take a slightly wider line. The Porsche washes out wide. Is this the opportunity for the Aston Martin? No, not yet, but could there yet be a big old dive into barbecue? Yes, there is. Side by side, they go through barbecue. They make contact. Rubbing is racing, as they say. The Aston Martin has the position. Can Stein make any progress back up past the Aston Martin, or is that car gone now? Big old wiggle as they come through sunset. Even bigger wiggle on the exit for the 5, nearly catching out again. You want to try calling this? This is insane. And somehow in all of that, Barrington Smith has escaped the clutches of both the Porsche and the Aston Martin to clear out a second gap. That will not last. I guarantee it. Shout outs to Sean Buck, Deadman Racing Team, Kyle. I am not going to try to pronounce that surname. Dave ZA, great to see you guys as well. Aston lets the Porsche back pass. I don't think he was happy with that pass either. And suddenly Barrington Smith has a 2-second gap through the gentlemanly driving of the Aston Martin. Accident for Stein is the one we just watched. and Stridham. Yeah, that was the accident we literally just saw. Lots of personal fastest laps coming through. As the fuel loads burn off, these cars will be getting lighter and lighter, and more than happy to run their race. Where's that 10 car? I think Patterson, yeah, he is a little bit off the back. It's become a fairly lonely race for a lot of the drivers here, unfortunately. Not for our battle over 4th and 5th position, however. The position was handed back. There will be some damage to both of these cars. Being an anti-clockwise circuit, however, and having the Aston Martin make a big old dive up the inside, the contact would have been made on the right-hand side of the car. Perhaps that Aston Martin has not got the edge that it did before it made that previous attack, similar to... Oh, help me, I'm about to make a Formula 1 reference. Similar to how Verstappen had to give back the position at the... It wasn't Bahrain. That may have been Bahrain. Grand Prix, where he used the outside of the track to overtake. But the 5 car still pushing. This isn't all over. If Stridham can keep the 394 under him, there's every opportunity that the 5 car is going to give up something. Now it's become that close fight that we were looking at before, but without the complication of the 74 car being in this mix 2 seconds up the road. He's not moving away from it. If either of these two were in clear air, they would probably be closing in on the Audi, but the competition between these two is now the focal point of the race. Further down, it looks like Ethan Rutter is giving Neil Greening a hard time. So the charge of Neil Greening will subside for the time being. Oh, here we go. What has died? Ah, it's that one. Okay. One of my dashboards has given up. So we are down to 1. Wonderful. This gap looks fairly consistent at the moment. What is going on? Ah, good. I have lost both of my dashboards, even though one is technically working. Oh no, it is okay. There we go. It's just being a bit slow. That's absolutely fine. 975 on the 93. Really hustling the 93 car now. Through the S's they come. We've seen how fast this 975 car can be under the right circumstances. Is this going to be one of those opportunities for Ethan Rutter to prove his pace? He tries to look around the outside. It's not going to happen yet, but he will have more speed as they come off the corner. If he doesn't rumble off the curbs on the outside there, they will remain line astern for the time being. Within reach of this fight, if these Ferraris don't squabble amongst themselves too much, is Johannes van der Merwe, who also has plenty of opportunity to lose positions if the Ferraris don't get tangled up in each other. Through crocodiles they come, almost as one into Inga. Will they come for the second to last time? Big old wiggle on the exit, but there was a lot more traction for Rutter there as they come across the line. Battle for... Oh, it's going to be doing this, is it? Cool. No, It looks as though I can't get to the lead battle, unfortunately. Stein has dropped. Wait, no. Stridham has fallen back. Ah, this is so annoying. Give me a second. Let me see if I can get this working. I will try desperately to get my other dashboard back up and running. This takes some time to find, though. Isn't it wonderful when these things happen? Right, is this going to work? That's the question. Initialize successfully, it says. I don't think that's going to work. That's really unfortunate. Okay, it's about to get very, very messy for just a second, but I need to go back to the previous lap. Oh, 975 gets on the brakes really at the point that he didn't want to do, and that Porsche is not for position at the moment, but they are being slowed up by each other side by side. They'll come down into turn 1. The 975 on the outside, 93 on the inside. Who is the last of the late breakers? The 93 will get to the corner first, but the 975 will get the cutback, run the 93 out of room. They will make contact on the rear and front corners respectively. But that is the position gained, quite fairly, I dare say, by the 975. Right, is this going to work, or am I going to have to spam some camera changes? I think I am. Yep, that's died as well. Great. So apparently, having both dashboards up is not a good idea. Okay, so with no dashboard and just the in-game to work with, we now have to go all the way to, very quickly, find Mr. Stridham in... No, it was this way. R96, Audi and Porsche 394. Is the car we're looking at. It was a couple of laps ago. The Aston did get past briefly. It's all going wrong. All the technical issues are striking tonight. 394. How did he fall behind? Oh, it's the replay system being dodgy, that's what's going on. This is where he got in front. And he's going to stay there, it looks like. Okay. Oh, this is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare to have on the final round of the championship. The only thing that I can do is, unfortunately, go all the way to Mr. Wessels, who has led a absolutely incredible race from the lead of the race, from the start to the finish, green flag to checkered. Wessels has been unchallenged, very seriously, by anybody in this grid. He could coast almost to the end of the race. Heinecker has an opportunity to perhaps take the position, but it's not going to happen. Stephen Wessels will take the win. Chris Heinecker will follow up a mere second and a half in second position, and that will do his championship hopes no harm whatsoever in 96 car, as the 22 car disables the traction control. We hope. We wait for the celebratory donuts as the fireworks go off. Ryan Barrington-Smith will hold off the intentions of the 394 car to take home. There we go. Turn off your traction control, gents. There we go. Ryan's showing you how it's done. Look at that wonderful pirouette for the 74 Audi. In the end, Paul Venter will win out against Vermeulen, and Tristan Dinobrega will come home in 8th position. I think that is more than enough to assume the championship one, even with the dropped scores. Let me jump into there. Excellent to see. Let's get that one up. So, the final standings, just wait for the final 3 cars to come across the line, will be Stephen Wessels to the win, Chris Heinecker to the 2nd position, Ryan Barrington-Smith to 3rd in the 754, Sean Stridham in to 4th position, 5th will be Stein, 6th will be Venter, 7th Vermeulen, 8th will be Donald Brega, 9th will be Wilson, Van der Merwe, Johannes in 10th position in that Honda, very well driven by him, with Rutter and Greening in behind him in the 2 Ferraris. Patterson will take home 13th, 14th will be Robson, Shutter in 15th, a very well driven car there. Robin van der Merwe in the 86 will come home 16th, and Petzer will be classified in the 1-2-2 to finish out the race, the final round of the championship. And first into the interview room, we will bring Chris Heinecker, who, what a race, man! It was, what a difficult race for you. How out of reach did that 22 Porsche feel at times?
Oh man, no, it was a lucky race. I was happy with the performance. Yeah, no, the Vessels did great. I couldn't catch him. He was just too quick for me on the nut. I knew I had maybe a chance in the first couple of laps, but I mean, I didn't want to risk it. And then I was hoping that he would make a mistake or something, and I can catch up or something. But no, he had a great race.
Yeah, and a great race for you as well. Really, more or less unchallenged to that second position. There were some issues during the race, get some traffic getting in the way and that sort of thing, but that's obviously to be expected with these races and with the pit stops and that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, the traffic is to be expected. I mean, that's normal. But I mean, yeah, no, it was not too bad. I'm happy. I made a couple of mistakes, which allowed Marcus to catch up at one point to me. And then, yeah, just put my head down, focused, and open up that gap again. But I mean, by that time, yeah, Vessels is gone.
Yeah, 100%. We will take home a second position. We will wait for the server to be closed to get all of our up-to-date scores. Actually, I'll have a very quick look to see if, no, it hasn't updated yet. But we'll see how that does. I don't think it's going to be enough, but a hard-fought for championship. Are you going to be coming back for Season 2?
No, definitely. I mean, this is awesome fun, so I'll definitely be back trying to make a better challenge for it.
That's great to hear, mate. I really appreciate that. It's going to be awesome to have you there, and whatever challenges await us, I'm absolutely sure that you will take them on with both hands. Chris Heinecker, it's been wonderful to have you racing with us. Have a very good evening, my friend, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, mate.
Yeah, keep well. Thanks.
Have a good one. Next into, now this is really frustrating because the next driver I need to drag in has the nickname RTA Donkey, and I have no idea who on earth you are.
How's it? Stefan Wessel.
Ah, Stephen, my friend, congratulations. What is that? 2 races, 2 wins?
No, this is my last race. I got my stop go.
That was it,
that
yes.
was the first race of the season, yes, and then today was my second race of the season. No, it was good fun.
What a race as well. Were you expecting to have such a comfortable lead at any point in the race tonight, or was that were you feeling good in the car?
Yeah, first couple of laps I struggled to get my rhythm. So Chris was chasing me quite hard, and then once I managed to get into my rhythm, I had a good couple of laps where I had constant 40s, and and that just gave me the opportunity to get a little bit of a gap, and then from there I could just be a lot calmer and a lot just focus on my own line and my own braking points and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. There were some issues further back. Sunset, for some unknown reason, seemed to be like ice for a few of the drivers. I'll ask you because I think you're a qualified person. Was there any inclement conditions, or was Sunset just one of those corners tonight that seemed to be a hot spot for action?
No, look, the track, in terms of track conditions, it was fine. The Porsche is always a tricky thing to get through Sunset, even on the best of conditions. So no, there was nothing other. It was exactly like the practice service, and nothing different there. But that is probably one of that and dropping down into the S's is the 2 corners where you can have your biggest mistakes. But yeah, I must say thanks to everyone, and also the back markers. They all gave good gaps, nice and clean. Just before the end, I came up to 2 guys battling, and I wasn't sure if I should overtake them or not because I had enough of a margin. But when you just drop too far out of your sort of rhythm, then you normally end up making stupid mistakes. So I just try to just keep that going. So
yeah, 100%. Well, it was a well-earned win. I don't think it's we'll wait for the championship points because obviously the drop scores will factor into everything, but hopefully we'll be seeing you back full-time next season.
Yeah, look, my baby's 3 months old, so that's the reason I haven't been racing for 3 months.
Mate. So is it lack of sleep or just having to look after the baby that's the issue?
It's basically you can't do anything that you can't press pause on.
Yes.
Because you don't decide your schedule.
Yep. I've been fostering cats, so I absolutely know the pain. I really do. Sure, it's wonderful. It's been wonderful to have you here, Stephen. You have a lovely evening. Sorry, I was reading Sean in the chat. Stephen, it's been wonderful to have you. I'm astonished at your pace, and that Porsche sounds incredible in the hills of Kyalami. You have a wonderful evening, my friend, and I look forward to seeing you next time out.
Thanks, man. Keep up.
Cheers, man. And finally, for the podium at least, what a race for that 74 Audi and Mr. Ryan Barrington-Smith. Talk me through your emotions, my friend, because I am not going to assume anything at this point. Oh, he's not even here! Or is your microphone just not working?
Hello.
Hello, my friend. There you go.
Yes, yeah.
Did you hear my question?
No, I didn't get your question. No.
Oh, that's fine. I said I'm not even going to try and assume any of the emotions that you must be feeling at the moment. Talk me through that race and how on earth you managed to wrangle a podium position from that 74 Audi.
That was I just my practice was my qualifying, so kind of got used to the car and everything.
Lord.
I arrived just in time for qualifying, so I kind of warmed up with qualifying, and then to the race I was just trying to keep pace with the guys from 2nd to 5th. We were all quite close on pace, and then I kind of just kept it going until the pit stops, and then I decided to I don't know if you caught on the stream, but I visited the wall. So
I
I gave myself like 14 seconds of damage before the pit stop. I decided not to fix it and fight for the position rather than lose 14 seconds.
I was going to say I couldn't work out whether that was damage before the pit stop or after. Both of them are entirely possible and completely understandable. Having the tyres give out on you is, especially, we've been talking all season how the Audi is very, very pointy. Did it finally get the better of you?
Yeah, it did. Especially through Cheetah, and I noticed where else through Sunset. I had a couple moments, but Cheetah was the worst corner. Just the car would get a little bit loose through there if you weren't correct with your throttle input, because you've got to control the car with the throttle. And so I just got it wrong that one lap. It started drifting a little bit sideways, touched the grass, and it spun.
Ah, that's really unfortunate. But no, of all the places to lose it, Cheetah is absolutely understandable. If I'm very much I'm a rally fan as much as a track fan, and that's absolutely one of the corners that you would put the grading of the corner is like a 5 right over crest care, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's not.
Yep.
You can't. There is no right way to take that corner. It's an adverse camber. It's over a crest, and it has that demon curb on the inside, waiting to eat your
you can't
inside
forget
wheel.
the don't cut.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't forget the don't cut. Absolutely. What I mean, yeah. Of all the places to lose it, Cheetah is absolutely understandable. And Sunset, I did ask Stephen just now, what was going on with Sunset, because there was so much action around there. So many cars either not quite judging it or not quite understanding what the corner was requiring. It's just one of those corners.
Yeah, so that's a corner that's really difficult to get right. But if you get it right, you're going to gain a lot of time. So the thing is, if you get anything wrong in that corner, you've basically just got to dab on the brakes before going in there. So if you get that braking point wrong, if you get your turn-in point wrong, if you get your throttle point wrong, you're going to lose 3-4 tenths alone. So you've got to get that corner out every time, and if you don't, the guy behind you is going to have a huge advantage, especially going into that next left-hander, I think it's West Bank, if I remember correctly.
Well, I've got it down as Clubhouse, but West Bank is
Clubhouse. Yeah. Okay.
But it's absolutely ridiculous the amount of incidents that we saw around there. But a third place is about as good as that Audi is ever going to get, regardless of your skill. I think it's fair to say tonight, with the amount of Porsches that we had in the race tonight, that is just indomitable. Is that Stuttgart brand, isn't it, at this track?
Yeah, it's especially at Kyalami. That car it's a car to beat. Nothing comes close to it. It's pretty much 2 or 3 tenths a lap quicker than any other car in the game. So yeah, it's difficult. I know the Audi is probably the second quickest car around this track. So I was probably the best bet is trying to beat those Porsches, but yeah, they just had the pace on me tonight. So yeah, nothing I could do about it. But the drivers that beat me were also quicker. So hands down, they were the better drivers tonight.
100%. Well, gracious in, I wouldn't really call it defeat, would you?
No, I wouldn't call this defeat. This was much better than I was expecting to get.
Third position is a very, very well-earned drink come the end of the evening, I think. Ryan, it's been wonderful to be casting over your exploits on track. It's been wonderful. Are you going to be coming back next season?
100%. Without a doubt, I'll be back. I love this season. Can't wait for some more.
That's great to hear. I look forward to seeing you next season then, if, of course, I'm kept on as a commentator, of course.
I really hope you are.
If not...
It's been a great season to watch your commentary and all the series and the racing with it. Yeah, you've been very good.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If not, I'll just have to come and drive instead.
Yeah, either way, get involved. I hope you do.
That's the one.
Yeah.
You have a lovely one, Ryan. Catch you next season.
You too. Yeah, definitely. Cheers.
And finally, for a slightly different change of pace, we invite the league director, benevolent dictator, humble overlord, Sean Buck, into the interview room, as well as being the race steward. My friend, you sound out of breath, and that was just watching. I mean, I totally feel your pain.
I am. Thanks for the introduction, man. Now I'm completely flabbergasted, if that is even that. I mean, it's our first season on PC. We went out with hoping it's going to be fun, and I think that's where it ended up being. And I'm speechless. I mean, the boys drove phenomenal. They kept everyone entertained. I enjoyed it, even being a steward. It just puts a smile on my face, man.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. It's wonderful when you can trust your drivers to be able to race cleanly and fairly, and we saw it tonight where the Aston Martin took the Audi, and it didn't feel it was quite fair, so gave the position back. It's self-stewarding like that makes being a race director so much more fulfilling and so much easier.
It is. It does. It's hard sitting on the other end, and I take my hats off for all other communities out there and individuals that are doing it and want to get some racing on the platform and on the ball and so forth. It's not an easy task to do. I sim race as well. I'm fairly sure you do, and I think everyone can agree that we all go in there with big eyes. We want to compete. We want to get into it. We get so stuck into it that it feels like we are the champions, and it gets there. And I love seeing guys doing it, but at often I always go and tell guys, you know what, take it easy. The race will come to you. If you take an endurance race, people will start getting placed into the positions over a long period of time based on the speed and capabilities you are. It just is how it is, and that sadly is based on skill sets, and fighting battles where it's not really needed doesn't make it. It makes good for commentary and entertainment, but it causes so much havoc at the end of the day because your eyes are so big.
Yeah, 100%. I think tonight we saw a slight disagreement with what you say about ending up in the right position. The defense of Ryan in the 74 Audi, my goodness, he did not. No, that car did not deserve a podium tonight. But he defended, used strategy, and worked every single corner to make sure that he took home that podium. And absolutely made the difference. Come on, update. I want to get the standings up. Before I can invite him in properly, we need the standings to be completed. But yeah, it's I think that the drivers can make such a difference in these medium form races because they're not half-hour sprints. It's not as though you can throw yourself or throw like your car at others and just make the positions up that way. You need to have the car to last the distance, but it's not long enough that you necessarily fall into where the car's performing or where you're necessarily performing. There's lots of agency in this form, and that's what I've loved so much about this series, is from the strategy being so open that you can pit at the end of the first lap to the 50 minutes being well within a fuel stint, but just on the edge of where you might want to run out, or you might be running out of tyres if you push the strategy either way. It's been a fascinating series, it really has, and kudos to you for putting it all together.
Oh, I'd love to take it to like all the acknowledgements for that and things like that. At the end of the day, it's myself and quite a bunch of guys that help move this forward. Again, for me, it's good hearing that, and it's phenomenal feedback. I mean, I go and say big thanks to the guys working in the background. So the other added R&D guys that sits in the background and do their work, the event admins that we sit and talk on a regular basis, going like, what do we do next? What do we make next? And it's not just the PC platform. We do that for ACC. We do that for GT Sport. So it's regular discussions. And then, of course, all of this will not even be possible at this level for us without the Patreons contributing to the community. And then everyone itself on the community making it feel like a family location where you can come in, say hi, and be a part of it. And then we all share the same approach. We love sim racing.
Yeah, 100%. The standings are updated, I think. Yes, they have. They have. Oh, man. So, without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the first champion of Logistical Nightmare Racing on PC in Assetto Corsa Competizione by a staggering 21 points, Mr. Tristan Di Nobrega.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Okay, fine.
That sounds awesome. Season 1 champion. Thank you so much.
You're just gonna be like that, aren't you? You're just gonna do me like that. I give you all this big up and
Bro,
all this
I've been
instruction.
sweating on the edge of my seat because we actually have no idea how the points are going to play out, especially after the drops. So yeah, I've been sweating. I mean, Ryan said that it was as close as 5 points at one stage. So I didn't know how it was going to land up. So to hear 21 points, I'm quite surprised. But yeah, I think an amazing season. As Sean was saying, I think the community has made this season what it is. Drivers have been amazing. The racing has been amazing. The admins, the streams, everything's just added up, and it's made it an awesome season.
No, I totally agree. At what point did you talk? Let's focus on the race tonight. Kyalami as a finale. I have, as I put in chat before the sessions even began, I have my own connection to Kyalami. But how did it feel coming home to the majority of the grid from your perspective?
Yeah, so this track is also quite special for my side. My family are involved in real racing, so I've been involved in the history of the track, and actually modeled on the track. You can see my grandpa's old workshop coming out of turn 3. It's actually there,
Epic.
which is awesome to see. So yeah, history around the track. In terms of the race tonight, I knew it was just damage limitation. I mean, the McLaren compared to those Audis and the Porsches was just not going to shape up. So I tried my best, and then yeah, in the race, I just don't know, the server felt just different to the practice servers, so car was all over the place. So I just decided, you know what, keep this thing out of the wall, put early, and just stay out of everyone's way, and just try and finish top 10 and bag some points. So yeah, that was the goal, and it looks like we got there.
I was going to say it was a big enough challenge to try and keep the car in one piece, but that midfield, when you get out of the first couple of cars, it's so tight and in so many different types of cars. How was it being, for want of a better expression, on the back foot and drifting back into that midfield?
It was quite interesting because obviously all season that hasn't been where I've been at all. I've been basically qualifying on the front row and then fighting for the top 2 positions. So it was a bit strange finding myself qualifying 5th and then yeah, having to really scrap and battle it out. I think I made a mistake even up on the top of the hill on the first lap where I completely outbraked myself defending from the Bentley, and then I think I tapped Ryan. So yeah, I had to kind of back off and just let him go, and that's where the Bentley got me as well. And then yeah, I had a BM all over me, so it's like I'm not used to watching my mirrors and trying to attack at the same time. So it was a challenge, especially with the car that I had. I just, yeah, like I said, I don't know if the setup just wasn't suited for the race server or what happened, but I was just catching armfuls of oversteer and just couldn't commit to corners. So that's where I decided, you know what, a wall is going to come very soon, so rather keep it out the wall and just take the loss.
That sounds like my
take
experience.
The loss for the championship. Yeah,
sounds like my experience of the 720S last night as well. Just can't quite trust it, but what a way to win a championship. Let's for those watching the stream, the final standings there will be Mr. Tristan Di Nobrega taking the win with 153 points from Ryan Barrington-Smith with 132. Just behind on 128 points will be Chris Haynecker. And how much of an issue is Mr. Haynecker going to be next season if he's able to commit to more races?
Yeah, so I know Chris quite well. I've done a lot of sim racing with him in other communities, so I know he's a consistent, quick guy. He looks like he's got that Porsche hooked up. He previously was in the Merc, so it's actually the first time I've seen him drive in the Porsche. But yeah, he's got that thing on rails, and I think if he does the whole season next year, he'll definitely be in for a shout for the championship.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of next season, are you going to be coming back? You going to be challenging to reclaim your title? And more importantly, are you going to take the number 1?
Look, I'll definitely be back. I've really, really enjoyed this season. It's put a proper smile on my face after every race, and that's ideally where you want to be. In terms of next season, in terms of the competitiveness, I think there's a lot of quick boys that have come in, and if they start doing the full championship, it's going to be really tight. We got Stefan Wessels, we got Chris Heinecker, we got Ryan Barrington-Smith, we got Sean Stradham, myself. If Bashir Jadwat does the whole season, it'll be close. So yeah, there's a big group of boys that are really gonna fight it out. I actually wanted to chat to Sean. Maybe the possibility of throwing in some success ballast for the season might be a good idea to just mix it up a bit. And if you win, add a good 30 kilos to your car and then see where you land up next race. It might be a good way to just keep the championship alive. And yeah, mix it up a bit.
I think he's muted. Yeah, he's muted. He's there.
You're bringing the big guns too quickly, man. Too quickly. I want to ease everyone in first. Ease them in. This is like fishing.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Tristan, congratulations. You take home the championship. It was hard fought, and you managed to do it without taking a win as well. So consistency really being your friend there. I look forward to seeing you do exactly the same next season. Best of luck. Have a good couple of weeks off before we start all of this again.
Appreciate it. I'll definitely be around. And then just to close it off, I have lost an LNR championship before going into the last round on console. So yeah, it feels bittersweet on the last round to actually just keep it in the books and to take the win. So it's awesome. First LNR championship under wraps. So yeah, very keen for that.
Awesome. Lovely
Cool,
talking
guys.
to you as always,
Enjoy.
Tristan. You have a lovely
You've been
evening, mate.
amazing the whole season, bro. It's been awesome chatting to you so often. And yeah, I hope you keep well, and I hope you stay on commentary for next season, because I think LNR wouldn't be where it is without you.
I think you guys make it a lot easier to commentate. I really do. No, you guys have been absolutely wonderful. I said it in the driver's briefing. If it wasn't for all of you driving so consistently, so cleanly, as Assetto Corsa dies in the background, thank you very much. If all you guys weren't so clean and gentlemanly and behaved so well both on and off track in the Discord, it's been wonderful to be part of this community. It makes my life so much easier. I might have the voice, but you guys give me the words. That's the easiest way that I can put it. So thank you, and I'll say it on stream as well. Thank you to absolutely everyone who has driven, who has contributed to these races in any way, shape or form. It really has been wonderful to come into this community and to be able to call such competitive and compelling races for the entirety of the season. It really has been wonderful. Tristan, it's been incredible. You have a lovely drink. You have a drink. Celebrate that championship win, and we'll see you next time out.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye bye.
And so, actually, I could probably get you to do this. John, come back here. Come back here. I'm not done with you yet.
Oh my goodness.
So, we're looking forward to season 2. Tristan
Yes.
did mention a couple of things. It's already up on Simracing GP. So get yourselves, if you've liked what's been going on here, there are limited slots. Are you looking to expand the slots next season, or are we? Talk me through what's going on with season 2, the differences that we might see, and the similarities that we might see.
In fairness, in my head, I'm going. No, I'm still gonna keep it small, simple, easy. Max 30 guys. Again, if we get a heap of guys coming in, we'll probably reconsider what we'll do. Again, with every server you do and every thing you host, you need to add more administration onto it. So keeping it small, simple for me is always been the ideal thing. We're not yet to go SimGrid GP philosophy. I don't think I can do it. I do. I think we all do way too much. But we want to keep it clean, simple, and tight. For next season, we're not doing a big change, so it's still the same race format. Ideally, we've taken away the mandatory pit tire change, put in a bit of fuel in there, gave a bit of differences whereby we allowed to open the pit lane 5 minutes after the race and 5 minutes before. So we got that in play. And then we're going to go with more of a standard race setup. So one will be we've got 2 wet races, 2 dry races, and then, of course, 2 night races. So bringing in a bit of variations within the weather system. It's only because I like night races. They bring a different ball game to the scenario. You tend to change your racing strategy. Your visuals are different. The effects are different. The tire wear usage is different. So I like bringing that into it. If it grows, we do want to see if we're going to head into the team versus team scenario. But now I'm talking way beyond season 2 thing. LNR is all about getting people together, creating team, creating unity, making friends, building on that. So we will hopefully move towards that direction if it allows us.
Absolutely wonderful. With all of that said, again, my greatest of thanks to you and your team. Thank you for bringing me on board. This has been absolutely wonderful to be a part of. Really has been excellent fun. The drivers are all wonderful, and I might at some point start pronouncing all your surnames correctly. There's a big bold might around there. Maybe a couple more seasons I'll start to get it right.
Don't feel alone. I'm South African and I pronounce their names wrong, so
perfect.
You are well forgiven.
Ah, cool. That's all right then. I won't feel too bad. Do you know what? As I have you, let's do this for fun. Do you want to do the outro?
I always do it. No, you got me there.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Big thanks to everyone. LNR, thanks to sponsors. Thanks to our. You had me on the spot now. So thanks to our sponsors and our patrons and everyone else watching. We will catch you in 2 weeks. 7th of September, kicking off season 2. Thank you, Ike. Be good. God bless. See you. Have a good evening.
Be excellent to each other. And that is us out. See you later, guys. Have fun.